Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Dilly Show. And here's your host, the host with the most, the man with the plan, the big nads and thick calf son of a himself. This is Dilly. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Dilly, and welcome to another episode of the Dilly Show. I'm your host, of course, as always. This is Dilly. I already said that. I'm Dilly. You'd think this is my first podcast, not my 32nd episode of the Dilly Show. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be an interesting episode. I'm kind of testing waters here, and I do this every so often, and the way I'm deciding to do it this time is I'm going to do different variations of the Dilly Show over the next couple of weeks to see what people care about, what gets interest. So this one's going to be a wrestle-centered episode, not wrestle-center like the promotion with the scummy booker. No one's going to get that. It's a wrestle-centric episode, I guess we could say. Video is back as well. I didn't do video for the last one because reasons. You can see for those listening, sorry, you can't see anything. You can see the play bar going, and that's good. But like for people actually watching, you'll see the office space I'm in right now is not complete. It's getting there. It's a process. I haven't decorated it at all. I have a shelf with nothing on it except gum. Getting there. Gonna be decorating soon. Until then, you're gonna have this. And that's fine. But yes, today is going to be a wrestle-centric episode. If you guys aren't into wrestling, those listening, my apologies. There's definitely going to be some other things laced within, and it's going to be entertaining all throughout. A couple things we're going to be talking about today is AEW fans being very stupid, WWE moving to Netflix, and what's coming from WWE moving to Netflix. WWE moving to Netflix. I don't know how many times I'm going to be able to say WWE moving to Netflix, but WWE has officially moved to Netflix. And since they've moved to Netflix, WWE, it's a big deal. Netflix obviously is like the biggest streaming platform in the world, arguably. I mean, you could count like YouTube's bigger probably, but it's also YouTube. It's not like shows and movies and important quality program. I would say even like Netflix is probably above YouTube at this point. But yeah, WWE making the jump over there, ditching the old WWE network thing in exchange for just jumping to the platform with the most international appeal is very, very cool. Very, very interesting. And there's a lot to talk about there, a lot to unpack. So I figured why not make this a wrestling show episode of The Dilly Show. And that's exactly what I'm doing. But we do have to cover some other things first. So seeing as this is the wrestling episode, I can talk about whatever I want as far as wrestling goes. I want to talk about AEW, and more specifically, AEW fans. I'm definitely going to be covering some AEW things as well that aren't just the shitty fan base they have. But, oh man, this past couple days has been fun. So, basically, on Facebook, on my personal account, some wrestling Facebook page posted a post about how AEW is jumping over to Max. Conveniently timed, I gotta say. So WWE gets Netflix, AEW gets HBO Max, and those are not the same thing. I'm not saying them getting a deal on Max isn't cool. Like, it's definitely good for AEW to have that. And I guess one thing I kind of want to say first is I don't watch AEW mostly because there's not really many ways to watch it in Canada. Like, it's not a very readily accessible thing here yet, which is kind of ridiculous given the amount of time that they've been running, and it's still not like on regular TV channels. It's still hard to get. I'm not saying it's unheard of that wrestling shows are hard to get. Like, I remember when I was a kid, I didn't have TNA for the longest time because it was on Spike TV, and not all TV subscriptions that you can have come with Spike TV, so you kind of have to get it separate, and I get it. There's a hassle there. One thing I will say, even if I wanted to start watching AEW, which I mean, I don't think there's much of a reason to right now because they're at a very low point. But even if I wanted to, I'm not going to get HBO Max. to watch AEW. No chance. If WWE went over to Max, maybe I would have got that. Because, I mean, there's a library there. Like, it's not just... AEW is so new. Like, I don't want the past 5 years of content. Because it basically... When AEW starts, COVID happens, and it's just a mumble jumble after that point. There's some good moments in there. There's a lot of bad moments in there. I wouldn't get a WWE streaming service if it was just since 2019. Basically is what I'm getting at. AEW has definitely had some good moments. And like I literally just said that. It's not the worst company in the world. They're number 2. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with being number 2. AEW diehards are some of the lowest forms of human scum on the planet, though, and it's amazing. This is what happened on the Facebook page. I know I kind of jumped over it and was talking about how I don't really hate AEW, I just don't really like AEW, but here's what happened on the Facebook page. So, I simply made a comment on this post about AEW going over to Max. And my comment was simply, Netflix greater than symbol Max. Netflix is greater than Max, because it is. I didn't comment on anything to do with WWE or AEW. I didn't comment anything like that. Not saying WWE is better than AEW. Not saying AEW sucks. Just simply stating that because there's 2 streaming platform announcements happening in the same day, Netflix is a way bigger streaming platform. Nobody could disagree with that. And if they tried, it's sad. This is sad. This Facebook page is sad. So it has 30 reacts and a bunch of comments. My comment does. So, holy shit. Can I view all the replies? Yes, okay. So we'll start with the top one and just go down. Bro, get rid of that porn stash and maybe your opinion will matter. What does that have to do with anything? I like the stash. It's a nice stash. Rude of you to comment on my stash. But I don't care at the same point. Triple H isn't going to sleep with you. I gotta say, when I saw that comment, kinda sad. Kinda was really hoping I could get that figured out, but I guess this person has a direct line to Triple H, and I guess he says he's not gonna sleep with me. I don't know. I mean, pretty sad about that. That one broke my heart a little bit. The next comment. Only good thing on Netflix is Squid Game. I disagree. I really disagree. There's a lot of good stuff on Netflix. Squid Game's kind of okay. The first season was good. The second season was just like a lot of weird drama that I didn't understand. Characters that I forgot about because the first season came out like 3 years ago and I didn't rewatch it since I watched it the first time. And my memory is really bad. So that didn't help. It wasn't great. I didn't finish the second season yet, but I know they already announced that there's a third season. And like, the main character has so much plot armor, it's not even funny. This isn't about Squid Game. I guess I kind of made it about Squid Game. This guy made it on Facebook made it about Squid Game. Not good. Next comment. Get off the pipe. I will reiterate here. My comment was that Netflix is greater than HBO Max. And this man is telling me to get off the pipe. It's statistically, there are, like, you could look into it. You could Google it. How many people have purchased this and how many people have purchased this. Netflix, no one beats Netflix. Like, I feel like the second closest contender, if they haven't beaten Netflix yet, would be like Disney Plus. Like, that's the only thing. Because kids and Disney adults exist. I fucking hate Disney adults. I would love to talk about Disney adults at some point. Just because how much they irk me. The next person says, grow up, dude. It's 2025. I actually replied to this comment. I said, telling me to grow up while getting upset over a fact. Netflix is a larger platform. Once again, I'm not making it about AEW or WWE. It's just about which streaming platform is superior. And Netflix is far superior. Some guy agrees with me, says very true. One comment in my favor here. The next one. If you told a WWE fanboy they had to eat a cat turd or an elephant turd, they will gladly take the bigger one and be proud of it. I don't understand the analogy there. I don't like eating turds at all. I eat pieces of crap like you for breakfast. You eat pieces of crap for breakfast? No. No. What is this analogy trying to mean? Is he calling WWE an elephant turd and AEW a cat turd? Because, I mean, I wouldn't eat a turd regardless. At that point, I would be forced to be an AEW fan. I'd likely be disappointed in the experience. But this isn't about WWE and AEW. Like, I don't eat turds. I don't care. I'm not a scat man. The next comment, I think we're running out here. Yes, the moron comment. This man gets it. What a sick burn that is. The moron comment. Okay, fine. The next one. Let's leave the tribalism in 2024, please. How is it tribalism? I'm simply stating Netflix is a much larger platform than HBO Max. It's kind of funny because I can use an analogy here. WWE being on Netflix and AEW being on HBO Max is like very fitting because like Netflix has been around a lot longer. There's a lot better shit to watch on it. Like overall, way better product. HBO Max just fucking started and nobody really cares. That's just kind of how it works. WWE is Netflix, AEW is HBO Max. Like the fitting is really good. I think that's it. It does say most relevant is selected, so some replies are filtered out. How do I do all comments? Can I change how it goes? Oh, okay, there is a couple more that are left out. Hold on. USA only get Max versus the world get Netflix. That person agrees with me, and that's honestly the simple answer. Some guy just says, who the fuck cares? I mean, AEW is getting a deal, and that's good. WWE is getting a better deal. That's also good. Who cares? The fans. Because here's the thing. I'm not being inconvenienced and made to pay extra money to watch WWE. Because I already have Netflix. Everybody has Netflix. Versus people that want to watch AEW have to go out and buy HBO Max. And that might be a worthwhile investment to you. But, like, not for me. Like, I wouldn't pay. Let me see. Porn stash. Triple H isn't going to sleep with you. Oh, okay. Somebody replied to the Triple H isn't going to sleep with you comment. Someone said, neither is Tony Khan with you. Valid point. Tony Khan's not going to sleep with that man. Next comment. Tony Khan probably would sleep with him as he loves the men. Just look at how he hugs the male wrestlers. Listen, I already got into the gay stuff last week. I'm not going to do it again this week. I swear to God. Tony Khan is a very interesting guy. And listen, I don't hate his product. He is such a fucking mark, though. It's not even funny. He is the biggest mark promoter I've ever seen, and I've worked in maritime wrestling. Boom. That's a burn on maritime wrestling. Yeah. Yeah, he's a big fucking cokehead mark, and it's funny. He's such a cokehead, and it's, like, honestly insane. If you've ever seen an AEW press event, like, after their shows, he's always just like, CM Punk's not here. I'm not scared for my life right now. Where is he? Like, he's such an interesting individual. He's a cokehead, as I mentioned. And I don't know how many times I can say cokehead. Probably no more. I probably won't say cokehead anymore. Yeah. Interesting guy. Interesting product. And he always likes shitting on WWE, which is very funny. Because the most they've ever done to inconvenience WWE was beat their developmental program. Fine. They beat NXT when NXT was doing its worst. So, I mean, good for you, I guess. You know? Next comment. When did I ever mention Tony Khan? I don't understand why you would think I just watch one promotion. I don't even understand. But anyway. Making it about AEW and WWE, which isn't what I was trying to do. Someone replying to the Squid Game comment says, Squid Game sucks, Breaking Bad is better. Is Breaking Bad on Netflix? It's not a Netflix original thing, but is it on Netflix now? Someone just says, nope, sorry. Bro going hard on that $1 billion bootlicking, lol. Tony Khan's also, like, a really rich person. I mean, if I was bootlicking for either, both would be $1 billion bootlicking. AEW is not worth much. WWE is definitely worth more. But Tony Khan's rich. If I was looking at anyone's boots, I mean, Tony Khan's probably richer than Triple H. Because he owns, like, sports companies and shit, too. So, I mean, I don't know. That looks to be all the comments. But, holy shit. All of this stemmed from me simply stating Netflix is a bigger streaming platform. And then I just kind of let the AEW monkeys do their work. And they did. It's honestly baffling how low IQ some of these people are. How angry they get. How personal they try to get sometimes. Like, obviously, the person looked at my profile picture and was like, oh, mustache. If he mentioned anything about my daughter, I mean, I'd fucking kill him. Because, you know, I have my daughter in my profile picture. And I've had people comment about my daughter before. And it's like, dude, like, are you that low? Like, it's honestly depressing how, like, low some people will sink. Especially over, like, nothing. Like, I don't check out people's accounts to, like, see, oh, you have a daughter. I'm gonna comment about your daughter and how she looks like she is fucking dumb. Like, I don't do that. That's dumb. Like, I get it. You're offended because someone mentioned something that might relate to the product you watch and jerk off to. Go get help. Go touch grass. Go fuck yourself, quite frankly. I think that's all the comments there. AEW fans never surprise me. They do and they don't. Like, I was really thinking when I posted that comment, like, I don't know, will they react super negatively? I kind of knew they would, even though I didn't even mention AEW or WWE. But yeah, they went for it. Every single one of them. And, like, it's such, like, easy bait. Like, if you really want to rage bait someone, go out and mention how Kenny Omega looks like he smells like farts. And people will come at you. You will have successfully rage baited. Yeah, AEW is fine. The product is okay at times. Very bad at times. Same with WWE. I mean, WWE doesn't go out of their way to mention AEW, which is good. They have, I think, a couple times in the past, but it's never as direct. It's never like a direct, like, oh, that guy on that show sucks dick. Like, it's so weird. Another thing I kind of want to comment on, and I think I have another thread that I might be able to pull up here to get people's insane reactions to things. Maybe I don't. So Edge, oh, here we go. Edge, former WWE star. I can't find the post. He just returned to AEW recently. And he used to be known as Edge in WWE. Then he jumped over to AEW where he called himself Adam Copeland. And now he's just simply the Rated R Superstar. The same nickname he used in WWE. The Rated R Superstar, Cope. His name is now Cope. Which is something a lot of AEW fans have to do when they realize their product is terrible. They have to cope. It's like, why name yourself Cope? I get it, your last name's Copeland. People backstage probably call you Cope. But Cope is such a stupid fucking name. And it's just funny to me that he had to switch back to a 4-letter fucking name using his WWE theme song, his WWE entrance, his WWE nickname. Like, he's just trying to be Edge, but he can't legally be Edge. And it's ridiculous to see how low he's going. At one point, Edge was my absolute favorite wrestler of all time. When I was a kid and didn't know who Shawn Michaels was. Edge was like my number one. And this was like 2009, 2010, up until 2011 when he retired. And I literally cried when he retired because he was my absolute favorite before he retired. It's crazy seeing him ruin his legacy so bad by doing what he's doing in AEW right now. A lot of wrestlers are doing it, and it's like, it's depressing. Because what happens in WWE is once you get to a certain age and you've done everything there is to do, they just don't have much for you. They'll offer you the Legends deals and say, hey, you can still do like shows for us, you can still make appearances every now and again, you can do meet and greets. Like, we want to do something with you, but we don't want you in a wrestling ring. Mostly for their well-being, like, a lot of the time. Sometimes they just have nothing for them, and that's kind of whatever. But, like, Edge clearly wanted to wrestle, and WWE clearly didn't have any plans for him. They didn't want him to wrestle. Not to mention, he had all the neck problems and the concussion problems, and he's banged his body up beyond repair, and he had to retire for over, I think it was either over or under, just a little bit, like, give or take 10 years, he had to retire. And now he's back in AEW, and he was there for a couple months, then shattered his leg, because he decided jumping off a cage at 50 years old was a good idea, and he landed on his feet, which he also thought was a good idea. It's depressing seeing him in AEW, honestly. Like, they could be doing good stuff with him, but they're not. Like, because AEW just, they're not that capable of pulling out good stuff from good wrestlers a lot of the time. I'm surprised Edge isn't over there doing, like, super kicks and Canadian destroyers. He might be. I don't know. I haven't watched any of his matches in AEW. But from what I've seen, it's, like, heartbreaking. Like, what is he doing? Same with Jericho. Same with, I know Big Show doesn't really wrestle there much, but, like, Big Show. Who else is over there that's ruining their entire legacy? There's some people that kind of jumped over and, like, did better for themselves. Like Swerve Strickland, for example. WWE was never going to pull the trigger on him. They might have, like, eventually, but, like, it wasn't likely. I think they actually released him before he went to AEW. Or his contract ran up. I don't quite remember how that worked. I just remember he was in Hit Row for a minute and then left. And then Hit Row was terrible. Hit Row would have been terrible regardless of if Swerve was there or not. But yeah, Swerve did good. Good for him. And I mean, like, AEW is kind of just the outcasts. And, like, it's not necessarily a bad thing. I couldn't say that to AEW fans because they'd be like, no, Darby Allin's a superstar. Like, no, man, he's not. Oh my god, Darby Allin is like the worst wrestler I've ever seen in my goddamn life. I don't even want to waste breaths talking about Darby Allin. Hi, I'm Darby Allin, welcome to Jackass. Like, that's literally his entire thing, and it's so stupid. I don't know how he hasn't paralyzed himself by now, but he definitely will at some point, and I won't feel bad for him when he does. Adam Page is fine. He's a good guy. I think he was in Japan for a bit. For AEW. I don't really know. I don't know a lot of these guys' backstories because, like I said, I don't really watch the program much. Obviously, Kenny Omega's great. The Bucks are fucking horrific. Like, they're bad. They're terrible. I cannot stand the Bucks because they're the most like, hey, I'm a heel, so I'm gonna mention CM Punk. Ha ha ha! Hey, I'm not young, but I'm gonna act like I'm young. Yeah, not fun. They're like, what, 40s or something? I prefer Generation Me, honestly. God, who else is doing okay in AEW or bad in AEW? Big Cass is over there getting segments with Chris Jericho. That's dumb. The whole Learning Tree thing is absolutely ridiculous. I could go on all day about things I hate about AEW and things I sort of like about AEW, but I'm just not gonna no more. I want to talk about WWE going to Netflix. Because this is a big, big deal, and it's big, big business. As of January 1st, a lot of WWE's content has moved over to Netflix. I've already been watching some. But here's an idea that I had. Seeing as it's on Netflix, and a lot of the library is there, let's go find some bad things. So I'm just going to open my OBS, which is clearly going to take a minute. So I did a thing. I tried doing a piece here where I was gonna go on Netflix and show off like, oh, here's some stuff, and there's some bad stuff too. But it turns out that even with OBS you can't record Netflix. I guess that kind of makes sense. There's some things at play behind the scenes where you just can't record it. So I was kind of reacting to like nothing, and it's fine because it would have gotten copyright anyway, so I mean, it's kind of probably better off. But like I basically just went and looked at like Rumble 2004 where Benoit won, and yeah, the whole bit. I'm just gonna kind of scrap it because it didn't really work. So here we go. See, that's beautiful. What a beautiful moment you can watch on Netflix now. Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit. I don't think Eddie is. No, Eddie's not erased at all. Our boy Chris is a little erased, but you can find him on Netflix. It's great, isn't it? There's a lot of stuff that's gonna be popping up. I'm gonna not show any more Netflix clips just simply because I feel like I'm already fucked copyright wise. But like, yeah, you can find some interesting things over there if you really look for them. It's good. They're preserving good things, but it's like, oh my god, you can watch Benoit being a superhero. It's like awesome. I can't wait to watch Backlash 04 on that, because there was a whole bit during Backlash 2004 where like they were in Manitoba or whatever it was, and it's like they had the mayor of Manitoba. He's going on about like, oh, it's Chris Benoit Day here in Manitoba. It's like, or no, it's not Manitoba. He was in Alberta, Edmonton, I believe, or just one of the Alberta cities. But yeah, it was Chris Benoit Day, officially recognized by the government. I really think they regretted that decision like 3 years later. Yeah. I don't like going for low-hanging fruit like Chris Benoit, but it is interesting. It's interesting especially, only really because A, Benoit's a great wrestler, but like B, they really like hiding his name. But you can find him on Netflix now. It's great. So with WWE going to Netflix, it's obviously a very, very big deal, very, very big business. I'm excited. They've already added a lot of the library. I kind of tried to show that off a little bit. And I'm sure they'll be adding some more. They've already added more than I thought they were going to, though. When WWE was on the WWE network, and I didn't have satellite when I moved into my apartment, I got the WWE network through Sportsnet in Canada, which if you've ever had to deal with Sportsnet in Canada, holy shit, I feel bad for you and I'm sorry. I got the network through there, and basically there was select content, which is the same verbiage they used when describing what was going to be on Netflix. So I was terrified. What select content was on Sportsnet was like pay-per-views from the last like 5 years and some historical stuff, but like not much. They've already added so much more on Netflix, and it's very surprising. I originally, like when they announced the Netflix deal, I just thought, okay, we'll get like new stuff, which is going to be nice, but like we're not getting the tape library, and clearly we are getting the library at least to some extent. And the extent we're getting it is clearly already exceeding my expectations, at least. Hopefully other people are happy with it too. I've been enjoying it. Like, you can go back and watch, like, any Royal Rumble that's, like, ever happened. You can watch, like, any Mania, any SummerSlam, any Survivor Series. Like, you can't watch, like, ECW and WCW, which isn't shocking. I would sooner, if I had to choose between one of the two for them to add, I would certainly choose ECW. I know WCW in its heyday was good, but, like, I'll kind of relate it to GoldenEye on the N64. It was good at the time, but would not live up now. ECW will live up until the end of time, because it was that good. WCW is just, it's AEW in the 90s. It's not good. Alright, so the last thing I really want to talk about is still relating to the WWE on Netflix dealio, but it's kind of like, what are we looking for in 2025? I almost said 2015. God, I remember when it was 2015, 10 fucking years ago. Life is scary. So, obviously, WWE going to Netflix is a very big deal for wrestling as a whole. It's going to make WWE so easily accessible. Like, they're going to gain so many new fans from this. Like, Netflix is full of their content right now. And, like, it's all over the place. Like, recently added is just all WWE. It's awesome. It's like, honestly, Christmas Day for a guy like me. I never thought it would happen. Like, all the library and stuff. So, I mean, especially with, like, the live, like, SmackDown, Raw. Well, SmackDown's going to be on Netflix at some point. I don't think it is yet. But Raw is going to be live on Netflix. PLEs are going to be live on Netflix. It's a huge deal. And it's going to bring in a lot of fans. It's going to be a very Like, 2025 is easily going to be the most successful year for WWE in a long time. I know Triple H loves his records and his history and all this nonsense. A lot of it is kind of just nonsense, but, like, at the same time, this year he's going to break a lot of streaming records, as far as wrestling is concerned, anyway. I can't wait to see the numbers by 2026. Like, I want to see how big of a deal it's become. There's probably going to be, like, at least 1 billion streams. Like, that's kind of, I'm calling that right now. There's going to be at least 1 billion streams of WWE on Netflix by the end of the year. And it's going to be great. It's going to be really good for WWE. So with them moving to Netflix, obviously they're going to have to blow new fans away as well. So they're going to have to do some big things to keep everyone entertained. They're going to have to do some huge things. Like, obviously, Cena is coming back full-time, at least from what I've heard, for his comeback tour this year. I've already seen that he's likely got his hair buzzed, which is awesome. I want to see him with that original buzz cut and jorts. It's going to be so great to see Cena back, and it's like, what are they going to do with Cena? I'd almost like to dedicate an entire podcast episode, write out like a whole script for things they could do for Cena. And I mean, maybe I will. Maybe that'll be one of the next week's episodes. Who knows? I'd say, like, big plans for Cena are probably going to start forming at the Rumble, maybe before the Rumble. He'll probably have, like, a singles match at the Rumble and get into the Rumble match, or maybe just get into the Rumble match. I say, seeing as this is his last year as a wrestler, I wouldn't be opposed to him winning the Rumble, because, like, you can set up matches without the Rumble being, like, the main thing. Like, for example, say they want to do Cody and Cena at Mania. Something like that. That'd be a big deal. And they could use the Rumble for that. The other title doesn't have to be, like, the Rumble. Like, the other title doesn't need a Rumble winner. Like, they can set up a story. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, Punk's going to have a big role in something. I don't know if he's going to get a title match. Who is the current champ? Is it still... It's not Gunther, is it? I thought he lost the title. No, maybe he didn't. No, he probably didn't. Who are the current champions going into the Netflix era? Yeah, it is Gunther. Okay, so Cody is obviously the undisputed champion. Gunther's the world champion. Liv's women's. Nia's women's. Braun Breaker's IC. Shinsuke Nakamura's US. Chelsea Green women's US. Dragon Lee Speed champion, which doesn't really count. Candice LeRae is other Speed champion, which basically doesn't count. And then for tags, we got the War Raiders, DIY, and Bianca and Jade. Bianca and Jade won the belts back? Holy fuck. I care so little about them, it's not even funny. Oh my god. Bianca's coming back soon, or Jade's coming back soon. I'm pretty sure they're going to do a whole thing where, like, Naomi attacked her, and I don't care. Jade Cargill is not a good wrestler. She doesn't deserve this platform. Bianca's at least, like, okay in the ring. Her personality is terrible. It's so stale. But, I don't know. I could see maybe them doing just Jade and Bianca at Mania, but they would have to make Bianca turn heel, which is the only thing I've been saying for years. They need to turn Bianca heel for anyone to take her seriously. I get it. She has a big fan base of children, and that's fine. But come on. Give me a good heel Bianca that's not just fucking shit and rainbows. Like, I don't know. I don't care for her. She's way too dominant as a wrestler. Like, the women they push are always way too dominant. Like, Rhea, way too dominant. Wins way too much, and it's ridiculous. I love Rhea, and she's by far the greatest women's wrestler right now going. But, like, fuck, man. She's, like, it's too much. It's too much with Rhea. It's way too much with Bianca. Jade's gonna get the same thing, because she can only do short matches, and she has to look strong. So, I don't know. The women's division right now is just overpopulated, and every woman's kind of doing the same, oh, I'm dominant shtick, and it sucks. Chelsea Green's great because she doesn't need to act all dominant and stuff. Like, she's a squirrely heel who kind of gets wins, and it's awesome. I like her deal. There's a lot of women I do like in the company. There's a lot that I don't, because they're just not being booked the right way. It's not really what I'm trying to get into entirely right now, but, you know, it's something. So I'm just kind of going to think about how the championships are going to go into Raw being on Netflix and WWE being on Netflix. Cena is probably going to factor in here. Like, I feel like he's gonna go for a title. And I really, really, really want Cena to get the 17th one to beat the record. Because Cena deserves it. He is the greatest WWE superstar of all time. He's the prototype. He is the, like, default. He is the guy. Like, we had Hogan, which was fine. We've had Michaels, Triple H, Batista. Cena is just different. He's so different, and he's always been different. You love him or hate him. At this point, like, this run's going to be great for him because, like, I don't think people are really going to shit on him too much. Because it's like, oh my god, I was a child watching John Cena, and now he's leaving soon. I love John Cena. Like, I hated John Cena when I was a kid. Like, I never was, like, he was never my favorite guy. But, like, it's so cool to me that he's getting one final, like, good run. And, like, I've heard, it's going to be full-time. He's probably not going to wrestle every week, but he's probably going to show up every week, or close to. And it's going to be great. You have to assume that The Rock's going to come into it at some point. I don't know. The Rock's probably going to come in before Mania to do something at Mania, because God forbid he doesn't. And that's the kind of thing, like, you could just do Rock and Cena at Mania. Like, that could be fine. Run it back again and make it, like, both of their final Mania match. You could also do Rock and Reigns at Mania, which would be a big, big deal. And that, like, I don't want Reigns challenging for a title anytime soon, because he doesn't need to. He already had that title reign, and he does not need another one. And I think they are distancing him from it. I would love to see Reigns go in the Rumble. I think that would be a great thing for him to do, especially after all this, like, head of the stable, tribal chief, like, everything. It'd be nice to see him in the Rumble. This Rumble coming up is going to be fucking packed. Because, as far as I know, it's the first PLE on Netflix. And, like, they're gonna make it a good one. Like, I see it being a very star-studded Rumble. One, the likes of which we haven't seen in a long time. It's going to be impressive. It's going to be very nice. It's going to be very good. I don't know who's going to win yet. We're going to have to kind of wait that out a little bit. And I will definitely get more into that when the time comes. But back to WWE being on Netflix. I've probably said that at least a dozen or a baker's dozen amount of times this episode. It's a big deal. I'm excited, and I do very much look forward to whatever comes of it. Everything that comes of it. It's going to be next level. It's going to be the biggest wrestling has ever been. Like, Attitude Era was great, and it dominated for what it was, and it was perfect for what it was at the time. This is like a step above that. Like, Attitude Era didn't have Netflix in everyone's house across the world. Like, it's such a big deal, at least numbers-wise. It's going to far outperform Attitude Era. And content-wise, I think they're going to have looser restrictions. I don't see them going out there and saying fuck, but, like, maybe once. Like, they don't have to not. Like, they're still going to be, I think, like, PG-13, which is valid. But, like, there's a lot more wiggle room from, like, sponsors and stuff, because, like, they're on Netflix. They don't have, it's not the same thing. They don't need the same sponsors, and they don't need to cater to them either. Like, they can very much, if they wanted to do an Attitude Era 2, they could. Like, realistically, they could. And they should. I don't want it, like, I don't even want that being a discussion, like, oh, Attitude Era, because that's like 20 years ago, 20 to 30. It's old. I do think they need to come up with a name for it, because, like, it's just kind of been referred to as, like, the Triple H era, and that's fine, but, like, it needs, like, its own catchy thing. And I don't want it to be, like, the Netflix era, because, I mean, you know, that's mid. Like, Attitude Era had attitude. I think there needs to be, like, one promo at the start of their Netflix run where it's, like, ruthless aggression. Like, you know, like, it needs to kind of stand out. And maybe they're planning that. I don't know. But whatever this era is, whatever it's called, whatever it's going to be, it's exciting for wrestling fans and for people that have never watched wrestling in their life. Because there's so much to dive into here. 2025 is going to be a good year. I think I want to talk about, in the future, what Cena is going to be doing. I think I kind of do want to dive into that in, like, fantasy book. I'd like to see what all the champions are going to be doing. Like, I kind of want to dive into that because that's important too. With that said, I've been doing this podcast for like a while. I think it's time to end the episode. I hope you guys did enjoy this one, though. If you did, of course, make sure to do the things. Follow, subscribe, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. If you're watching, great. If you're listening, great. Subscribe and follow on all the platforms. Follow me on social media at This Is Dilly. And I think those are all my plugs. Check out Dilly Plays. I play games. I've been playing Minecraft a lot, so go check that. And yeah, I guess I've been your host. This is Dilly, signing out.